All right, here's the last part of that page with the conic sections on it. If you take a look at this, it's giving you points, and then you have to come away with a standard equation. The key is if you plot the points that you're given, then within it you can get the, for a parabola, for this first problem, you can find the p-value. So if a vertex is on the bottom here, and the focus is on top, then we realize p is a positive 6, the distance between those two. And if you remember in the equation, the focus, the vertex is an hk value that so it's 0, -2. Those are things, so x minus 0 and y minus a -2 are the components in your equation. The orientation of the vertex and the focus are vertical to one another, one's above and below. So that means x is squared as opposed to y is squared. So the x minus 0 has to go on the left, and the y minus a -2, or y plus 2 has to go on the right. The part that's not squared in front of it is a 4p value, and if we know p is 6, then it must be 4 times 6, or 24, that you see circled there. So those are the key things you get from the given information. You're able to find p, and of course with the vertex you can put it in for x minus 0 and x minus a -2 respectively. In the hyperbola, it looks like we had an error. I didn't catch it earlier until I started to plot the points. So if you look, if I plot the points that are given, -6, 0, and 6, 0, and then 10, 0, and -10, 0 for the vertices and foci respectively, what this allows us to deduce is that they're definitely, that's the direction. There's a hyperbola that goes in that faces left and right. That's what we get from this information. And it goes to the vertices and faces the foci that are 10 units left and right. But underneath, this is definitely centered because those are all very symmetric about 0. It's centered at 0, 0. So you have x minus 0 squared and y minus 0 squared, or just x squared and y squared. It opens left and right, so x has to be first. Then the dimension left and right to the vertices, the 6, that's correct. So it'd be over x squared would be over 6 squared. But the y squared over, what we need to know, and what I don't have on this page, and this is where the error kicks in, is that it has to open up and down some other amount that is not 10, by the way. C is the distance to the foci. The foci are 10 and -10, so C is definitely 10. So the way I wrote this is all goofed up. So if you watch this, instead of, it's true, C is the biggest dimension because it's farthest out, but it's 10. That's what I know. 10 squared equals 6 squared plus, let's call it like b squared. And if I fix this up, so I just kind of went off on the wrong, cut off on the wrong foot. So we're going to fix this and go, if I read it correctly, you got 10 squared equals 6 squared plus b squared. And if you subtract 6 squared from both sides, you get 100 minus 36, which is 64 is b squared. And what you find out instead is that b is actually 8. And that's important because that's the up and down dimension from the center. So you go 8 up and 8 below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one's off the charts. If we had a bigger grid, that'd be helpful. But that's the rectangle that the hyperbola would live in if I had to drive it. I'm sorry, if I had to draw it. So that, however, because b is 8, that's our denominator. Under the y-coordinate would be 8 squared, or 64. So 8 squared and 64 are the respective values that should go underneath y squared. So hopefully that catches you early, not too late.